Hello, this is Summer Lake Photog, and I'm making a little tutorial on how to add birds to your image. And so this is a tutorial that will make it very easy to add some birds, depending on the condition that you have the birds in, to an image. So this is just an iPhone image that I've sort of made into an impressionistic looking painting. And then if you look over here on my different layers, I have placed a bird photograph here underneath the primary image. And I want to make these come through at the right size very quickly to add birds to my image here. So the first thing I want to do is to take the top layer, and you'll see that I'm over here at the opacity of the layer, and as I reduce the opacity, you can see the layer underneath it. Then I want to make sure that the layer, I want to click on that layer, and I want to make sure that it is converted to a smart object. I hit this little, see where my cursor is? I hit this little box here to get the, bring up this dialog, and then I hit convert to a smart layer. I should go a little slower. Then, once I'm on the middle layer, which is the bird layer, you want to go ahead and hit Command on your keyboard T. And as you see, I've created a transforming the ability to transform this layer to a smaller size. So now you'll see I move my cursor down to this corner right here, and then I want to hold the Shift key, and then I want to slide up. And as I slide up, I'm constraining the same perspective of the birds, but I'm making them smaller. So if I want to make them larger again, because they're a smart object, I won't totally destroy the image. So I'm making them pretty small. Then you just put your arrow on the image like this and drag it. I've released the Shift key and drag it into position. And so let's see, I've got it down. Whoops, I guess I lost my, I just seem to have hit something. Okay, so I'm back on the transform. So let's see, do I want it just maybe a tad smaller? So again, the Shift key and just slightly smaller. All right, so now I've got the birds there. Now you go up to the top here and see the check, and you just click that check, and you have your birds in place. But of course, there's something I've got to do. It's just the opacity that's showing through. So if I go to the top layer and I put it back to 100%, of course you can't see the birds because of the situation that you're in a normal blending mode. But I'll go through that here. So now we get our opacity. And then I go down to my bird layer. That's the middle one here. I'm going to turn off the top layer so you can see this. Now, what you need to make this work is that the white background must be completely white, not a shade of white, and the birds must be as dark as possible. So the way we do that is to be selected on the bird layer, go down to the middle box here and pull up your layers here, and we want curves. So once you've got an adjustment layer, what you want to do is put your little finger right between your bird layer and your adjustment layer, which is a curves layer, and hit the Option key, and then you'll see this little thing come up. Then you go like that. What you've done is you've created a clipping mask. So that will only affect this layer. I'm keeping this layer down here in case I need it for something. So I've just got a clipping mask on the bird layer. Now here's something that makes it quite simple. You take your top of your curve and you move it to this way, and that will make your white very white, almost pure white, which is what you want. Then in order to regain the darkness, you go down to the bottom one and you get your birds pretty dark. I think that ought to do it. Because if it's a shade of gray, then this won't work as well. It will start to come through and you will see the outline of the rectangular box. All right, so we have that there. And now we're going to go and activate this layer. And it's at 62, so we got to get it at 100. Make sure these are all at 100%. Yeah. Okay. Now, I'm on my top layer, and I'm going to simply do this. I'm going to go up to my blending modes. It's in the normal blending mode now, and I want to go to darken. Darken just brings the darkest thing through, and the lightest thing, you can't see a trace of it. So in that instant, when I have very dark birds on a very light background, all I got to do is go to my top layer and go in the darken mode, and voila, I have my birds coming through perfectly. Now, what I want to do, just to show you while I've got this up here, what I do a lot of times is I go up here to my history. You see it's history up here, and I hit this little middle icon here, which is a camera. And I take a picture. Just in case I've gone beyond the history, I'm going to save the history up here of what I got right here on my layers panel. That way I can always go back and change it if I need to. And then I can feel confident when I come over here to the layers. Here I can just say merge visible, and I got them all together. So that's a simple way using the darken mode to bring birds through on a picture. You don't have to paint them through, you don't have to do anything.